Hey friends, super excited. I got my Berkey water filter for testing. Been following these guys for years and stoked that we get to give them a go here at the Farmer's Lamp. Packaging's really solid, no dents, no scratches, and it came really quickly. Let's open it up. All right, I think we're gonna do this together step by step. So the first step is to wash your hands so you don't contaminate anything as you put it together. And that includes the screwdriver that you're gonna need to assemble the very first piece, which is just putting the handle on the lid, which I gotta say, I like a project that starts out with an easy win. And there's a tiny little flat washer that needs to go on the inside. So try not to lose that. Just through there, and then screw on the other side, making sure you don't cross thread it, and then I'm holding the knob on the bottom and just tightening it up a little snug. All right, so now it doesn't twist. Step 1, complete. Step 2, we get to install the spigot into the base component. There's the spigot, the handle, there's a hex nut, or it might be a wing nut depending on which one arrives, and there's 2 black rubber washers, and there's a slight difference in them. The one that's concave is going to go on the inside with the widest part up against the inside of the base. So putting the smaller washer that's fully flat, just like that, and then the concave with the widest part up against the inside, and then hex nut. And I'm gonna hold this handle so that it's at 9 o'clock, or just to the left. Hand tighten on the inside, that hex nut, until I can't get it any tighter by hand. Then I finish it by having some leverage on the outside and turning it upright. And now we have it. All right, step 3, we have our lower chamber, and then we're going to have our upper chamber that sits in like this, and this is what the filters will be attached to. So it has 1, 2, 3, 4 holes on it. I'm only gonna have 2 filters in it. So there's 2 plugs that need to be installed inside of these holes, these extra holes, to stop those up. Here you can see 1 plug is already installed, and they come connected, and there's 2 white rubber gaskets or washers, and then there's a plastic wing nut that goes on. So it's as simple as and just hand tight. You don't need to over tighten these. And then again, that'll sit as the upper chamber on the lower chamber. Step 4, there's a vapor lock clip, and it's difficult to see, so I'll take a photo of it so you can see that in the blog. But vapor lock can occur between the upper chamber and the lower chamber. You just snap it on the lower chamber. I think it's worth noting that in step 5, which is priming the elements, and the black filters are the elements, that there is an extra set of instructions that's worth reading before you continue forward. One of the big takeaways is, again, keep your hands clean. And then you want to take these wing nuts that come installed up like this, and you want to rotate them down until there's about 1/8 of an inch of them beyond the top of the threaded bit. And then you take the tan washer, which basically is like a filling gasket, and tuck it over the top. And I could probably go a little farther on this one. So just until it hits the threads. And then you slip that over, and we're gonna go use that to fill it off of a faucet. Now we're going to place the Primerite used reversal primer onto the sink. So it says to get it up as high as you can. Oh, I don't know how high I'll be able to go on this one, but I think that'll stay. It's actually quite nice because it's over that slope. And then it's just basically a little funnel. This is method 1 of 2 to charge your element. This is using the primer sleeve. And in this case, you want to take these wing nuts all the way off. And mine was a little tight, and so I grabbed a set of pliers that I had to give me a little leverage. Good old linesman's, handy things to have around. First, I'm going to rinse off the dust, and then I'm going to slip this as far up into the primer sleeve as I can. And then you want to turn on the pressure just enough so that it's not squirting out the sides and I can feel it getting heavier. And then once the beads start forming, I'm going to turn it down just a little bit, and then we're going to let it charge. There we go. We don't need to have it ripping through there like that. We're going to let it charge for about 60 seconds. All right, and then taking it off seems to help to pull up on the blue a little bit. And then I'm going to set that into the tray upright while we move on and do the second one. Okay, so here's method 2, which is if you don't have this priming sleeve or it can't fit onto your style of faucet, you can instead use the tan washer. And so here you want to make sure that you turn this wing nut down until it's just about hitting those threads or about 1/8 of an inch, and then slip the washer over the top and then hold this up nice and tight, and then slowly, oh oops, I forgot to rinse the outside of this one first. So just rinsing from production just to take off dust. Okay, so again, we put the washer over, hold it up tight to make a seal, and then turn on nice and gentle. And then I'm going to hold it here for that 60 seconds. Once beads start forming on the outside, and I can feel it getting heavier. Oop. And if it starts to squish out like that because there's pressure back, just turn down the flow of water. And then you'll see the beads will start forming on the outside. I think I like the first method with the primer sleeve the best. But slowly it'll start forcing water out through the filtration. It's starting to get the water droplets to form down here. So we want to let that go for about 60 seconds. And if the water runs a little black at the beginning here from manufacturing, that's fine. It'll clear out in that 60 seconds. There's 60 seconds. Then I'm going to take that wing nut free so it's ready for installation inside of the upper chamber of the Berkey water filter. Remember how we put those 2 sealing plugs in? Because we're not going to be using those spaces. The other spaces are where the filters go, just like that. And then you grab that wing nut, and in this case that gasket's going to be on the inside. There we go. Just had to get it started. It was a little tough at the start, but now it's going just fine. And we're just going hand tight on these. There's one, so it just looks like that. And let's get the second one going. If that gasket drops off, just realign it. And here we go. There we go. Just check the other one. Looks good. And that's what it looks like on the inside. All right, let's go put it together. Now that we have those filters in place that are charged, and we've got it setting on the bottom chamber, it's ready for us to fill and start using.